Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast here with Jessica Bun Bun, and this is our reaction and review for Teacup Season 1, Episode 3, and Episode 4. They continue to release these two episodes at once. Let's be honest here for a moment. This is not what I thought I was getting myself into, and part of the problem as we get into these episodes is going to be me. I will admit that. I thought we were going to get into some sort of really dark Until Dawn-esque, like overnight monster movie where everything was just really creepy and intense, and that is not what this show is at all in episode 3 or 4.
No, this show did sell itself in the trailers as like an Until Dawn overnight, who done it? They're all trapped. Who
Yeah.
is this guy in the gas mask? That when they finally gave this huge reveal, I was at first kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
because spoiler alert, it's aliens. And I'm somebody who loves alien stories. I love the alien movies. We love sugar,
Yeah.
like really, really good alien stories. You can either do them really well or you can
Yeah.
teacup them. So that's where we are with this, where I was just like, oh, aliens, awesome. Let's see how they do this. And then it started to just go downhill very quickly.
These episodes were really, really weird, really abstract. Not a lot of it makes a lot of sense. And I mean, to me, the biggest issue I have with them is just that for a show that has advertised itself as sort of this horror thriller, they're not scary. Like, I'm never feeling like I'm genuinely afraid or my heart is pounding. It's paced a little bit too slowly. It isn't working right now. I'm not saying I am fully out on this show or that, I'm
No.
not watching. Well, like, we'll see where things go from here. It's just that the first two episodes were so solid and it got me really excited. And the moment that episode 3 started, it was presumably the next day. I mean, I was already feeling a little bit deflated.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Speedman has come out and basically been like, if the audience can stick around to episode 5, they're going to be really happy with what's going on. So in Scott Speedman, we trust. The first 2 episodes were pretty solid. We really enjoyed them. These 2 episodes, oh my God. And so if we can get to episode 5, which we are, we're going to be here for the whole season. In Scott Speedman, we trust. It's going to get better. Scott, please don't let me down. Don't do me dirty. It's going to get better.
You were in Animal Kingdom. We have to believe in you. But,
oh, what a great show.
All right, well, we will get into what happened in these 2 episodes, what didn't work, what's a little way too all over the place. But before we do, hit that subscribe button because, like Jess said, we will be here through the rest of Teacup to see how everything develops. And if you guys do love horror-themed programming, earlier this week, the latest Huluing event for American Horror Stories arrived. There are 5 new episodes. We had a big marathon day where we watched all 5. Shared our reactions and reviews to those, so check that out.
Also, we are covering The Penguin exclusively on our Patreon. It is the only place that you can get our Patreon reviews. So we'll leave a link for you below if you want to join our Patreon and check out those reviews. And it also is a way to help support Matt and I here at the channel to be able to continue to bring you videos. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined our Patreon. It truly helps us.
Thank you. We really, really appreciate that.
Okay, let's just get into all the alien about it. Because, like, I really love revenge stories and I really love alien stuff. So the idea seems to be that we have these 2 aliens in gas mask guy who now we know his name is McNabb and that he was a cop or something like that. And then we have Arlo. And it seems like these 2 aliens are hiding out from Olsen, who was also a cop who's looking for them. So it feels like when we've seen sort of the transfer of this rainbow eye thing going on, that all 3 of them are the same species, question mark? I mean, it feels like they are. So what has McNabb and Arlo done that they are here and that they are in hiding? Because, I mean, Arlo has said over and over again, run, hide, Okay, so if they're running and hiding and they're running and hiding for someone who's part of their alien species, why is that? What did you guys do? Or what do they think you did?
This immediately comes to my biggest problem with where we are right now, which is just that I can get on board with aliens as a reveal. I like aliens a lot. I love alien stories. I have no problem with it being aliens. I have a big problem with you guys already revealing that it's aliens. So you've already given away fundamentally what is the biggest secret at the heart of this show, which is what's going on here. Okay, it's aliens. But in doing that, you didn't give away the why. We don't really still know who these aliens are. We don't know what's going on. If you're going to reveal that it's aliens, I think right away you have to give people more information than what we have, because otherwise we're just dealing with like weird abstract rainbow eyes and here's some rainbow liquid that Marilyn Nicholas can drink. It's all too just vague at this point. With you've already gotten specific with the aliens, we need to know exactly what's going on. And to me, more specifically, why is it in what I would presume to be a very large galaxy that these two in particular have chosen to hide around this particular area, and Lieutenant Olsen is coming here? What makes this place special?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I'm having an issue with is that they are introducing too many things where they do have, the rainbow eye transfer. Okay, cool. We know that that's how they're able to, hop from body to body.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Now we have this rainbow liquid that's like a poison. If you drink too much, you're going to die. If you don't drink enough, you're going to die. If you drink just the right amount, maybe you can cross the blue line. And then what? Like, what do you then get out of this? Can you run away? Like, I don't really understand. There's not enough information. Then you've got this next farm that is within this border. And I'm just like, this cast is too big. There are too many people that are in this for being such a short season and not enough time in these episodes that now all of a sudden it's like, now there's this other farm. And Ruben goes into what kind of looks like a silo or a shed or something. And here's a rainbow alien nerve center that's set up there. And I'm just like, okay, guys, like we've got the rainbow eye transfer. We have the rainbow poison liquid. And now we have a rainbow alien nerve center. There's too much happening and not enough time for it to just aliens need time to breathe. If you're going to really tell a good alien story that I'm going to believe, like the Alien movies where I'm like, this could be happening. I absolutely feel that this could be happening. It's terrifying and it feels believable. You need to introduce these types of elements a little bit at a time.
Yeah, like you mentioned sugar earlier, and the reason why sugar worked is that, and it was so unbelievably good. I mean, not only was the writing really smart, but you had a very concentrated group of characters within sort of the alien world, so that we got a real chance to kind of get to know them, understand what they were going through. And even when it was abstract, it still felt specific enough that we could buy into what was being told. But because the aliens in this shape, this potential show, we've got them inhabiting people other than Arlo, we don't know at all. And we have no reason to be invested or interested in what they're going through. So you've got that group. You've then got, Maggie. You've then got some of the other kids. Then you've got, these other characters like Ruben and Valeria. You then have Scott Speedman, who is one of your two biggest stars of the show, basically just trapped for a good 30 minutes of this episode where you're not even really seeing him at all. And it's just like, what's going on here, guys?
And now you're introducing Olsen. You're introducing this basement teenager. Like, there are way too many people and you don't have enough screen time for all these people. And some of these stories aren't really materializing into anything. It's not bringing us to where we need to be with the alien story, which is the story. They have spent so much time on this affair. I can't even with it anymore. So we had like Maggie confronting James about Valeria and the affair. Ruben overhears. He decides to go on this border perimeter checkout with James. And at one point he's like, we could end up over this blue line and no one would notice. I'm like, yes, Ruben, you just kick Scott Speedman over that blue line because why wouldn't you at this point? He's sleeping with your wife. No one would know. So we get to this big confrontation, which is like, it made me irrationally mad. Like, I was talking about it so much after it happened. I actually audibly was like, are you so for real right now with Valeria's reaction? So we have the confrontation between Valeria and Maggie where, Valeria's like, oh, Maggie's like, yeah, I know. Oh man, do you hate me? You going to punch me? Like, what's going to happen to me? Oh no. Cause all kinds of things could happen to her. She's sleeping with her husband and now they're trapped together. Maggie is like, listen, you're an adult and you made some adult decisions where you decided you were going to sleep with my husband because you are a bored farm wife. And, I thought you were a really good person, but now you're sleeping with my husband. I don't think you're that great of a person anymore. And you got to live with your life choices. So that's the best you're getting from me, which is, I'm disappointed in you and you have to live with your life choices. I was like, Valeria got off easy, man. Maggie could have easily just like yeeted her over that blue line and no one would have been any wiser about it. But she got the I'm disappointed in you, live with your choices speech. Valeria turning away from her and being like, James said you were so cold. I'm like, girl, you have got to be kidding me. You got off so easy. Nothing happened to you except that this woman is disappointed in you for sleeping with her husband. You are not a good person. And she said you're not a good person. You know you're not a good person for doing that. That's not a good action how are you turning this around? It almost felt like she was trying to justify what she did to be like, oh man, James said you were so cold and then he's in my arms and this is why he was right. I'm like, get out of here. I'm so over this Valeria character.
I mean, maybe they're writing her to be this sanctimonious and on this high horse and self-righteous. I don't know. It is very frustrating. That entire scene frustrated me on so many levels because I don't know if this is just weird directing choices, because Hannah to me doesn't seem, not Hannah, now I'm thinking of her Dexter character. No, Maggie just seems to be not a terrible person. Like, she seems to be pretty nice. And this is where I'm just sort of like, are you guys, the writers, just sort of typecasting Yvonne? Because Yvonne always ends up playing a lot of characters that are perceived as cold on some level. Like, even on Mass Effect, her character, she gets a lot of lines of, oh, how cold you are. And it's just like, she doesn't play cold characters all the time. And I don't think
And not here.
Yeah, I don't think Maggie is cold at all. And so that's where I'm just sort of sitting back and thinking about, like, okay, well, is either Valeria trying to justify what she's doing, kind of like you said, or she's being way too self-righteous? It's just the biggest fundamental thing is that because I don't care about these relationships, it's hard for me to care about spending this much time on an affair storyline, because we have spent so little time with any of these people. I don't really see any chemistry between one character or another at all on this show right now. And so it's just like, for me, I would rather just spend my time watching these people run away from the aliens who are trying to kill them, because that is what I wanted this show to be.
We need way more time with these aliens. This affair story, who cares? Like, they are in a situation where if you cross a blue line, your skin's going to melt off. There are aliens involved. Who cares? Like, it's not making me feel anything deeper for any of these characters. They spent so much time in these episodes on this affair that doesn't matter right now. They're all fighting for their lives. So just let it go. Like, they're dealing with Olsen. Olsen has now transferred himself into Ellen, which is kind of exciting. I mean, you had said in the first 2 episodes that you were kind of thinking she might be the murder maker, and now she is.
I will say this is the one part of these episodes I liked. This is the one thing that came out of this. I was like, ooh, this is interesting, because now we've got somebody who is able to mask herself as, the kind, sweet parent, somebody who's helping out. And this could potentially bring us to the next phase of the story where things actually become more horror-centric. But at the same time, I'm kind of left with this question of, okay, sure, Ellen could be a murder maker at this point, but it's also why? Like, why do you need to take these people out? Like, what's the motivation? If you're hunting these other aliens, is it just you don't know who are the aliens and you just have to take everybody out to ensure that you're fine? Or is it just that humans are your enemy too for X, Y, and Z reason?
Yeah, it just feels like humans are just there to be used. I mean, Olsen was used by whoever the murder maker is. They're tied to a pole. This body doesn't work anymore. Cool. Here's this woman. Come on closer. Cool. Now I'm using this body. And it's a body that people trust. And even though, they were told not to trust anybody, they weren't told why not to trust anybody. Yeah. Like when Olsen first rolled up and he's crossing back and forth over the line, they were told not to trust anybody. But in rolls line crossing handsome cop who comes in and starts asking all these questions. And Valeria's just like, yeah, Arlo's upstairs. Let's go get him. This is happening. I'm like, wow, you care about nobody. But then Ellen's also giving up an incredible amount of information about her family to a stranger that just crossed the line. Even if they weren't given the information of don't trust anybody, someone that is able to cross back and forth over the line is someone that I feel like I can't trust. Because if the line has been put around us and we can't cross the line, why can you cross the line? Something's not right.
Let's all celebrate another chapter of a very long book of horror characters making stupid decisions, because there were so many stupid decisions.
And not only that, but at the very end, when we have Maggie take Olsen to the barn, Ellen says, they did tell us not to trust anybody. I'm like, girl, come on. Like the writing is the problem with this right now. Yeah. The writing is the problem.
It's just, it feels like nobody's doing things that are in their own self-interest. Nobody's focusing on the right things. And I get it that, this is a show with a limited episode order. You've got a whole book, presumably, to adapt. You have to get to various points. It's just the way in which things are being arranged is a way in which that doesn't breed a lot of excitement at this point. So this is what I need in episodes 5 and 6 in order for the show to kind of turn things around a little bit. I need a lot of time being spent on these aliens, why they're there, what they're out for, what makes this farm more important. But then also some of the humans who are there start to kind of realize more and more, okay, this is what exactly is going on that is wrong. This is what we can do to combat it. Because one of the best things about this genre is when you do hit that point where everyone starts to realize that we're all just in this together. We have to put our nonsense and, these difficult things like affairs and all that to the side to work together. And then we get into the ultimate one group versus another group showdown, which I want for the final 2 episodes, because that could be really exciting.
Listen, if you're going to have a cast of this many people, you need to then have it 2 groups of people, of one group that wants to do one thing and one that wants to do another. Otherwise, you need to start pushing people over the blue line. Like you need to get this group much smaller so that we as the audience can start to really get to know them and care about them. There's not one character I've learned nearly enough about because there's too many people and this affair has taken up so much time that I haven't got to really know anybody. So at this point, it's kind of like, okay, well, I mean, I'm rooting for the aliens. I need these 2 guys to get away from, Olsen / Ellen at this point, murder maker, because I've kind of learned more about them than anybody else. The only thing I've really learned is Maggie's a horse doctor and there's an affair going on.
Yeah, it's just, there's not enough people who I'm sitting back and being like, am I going to be in tears devastated if something terrible happens to you? Like, I would like to see Maggie make it out of this because it seems like she cares about her kids at the very least, and she's gone through a lot with this affair, but it's just like, I don't know enough about a lot of other people, and I need Scott to do something more. And this is not Scott's fault, but this is... No. You guys have a reasonably big name actor here who you have done almost nothing with within the first 4 episodes. Like, at least Yvonne's gotten to run around a little bit and have some intense discussions, but it's just sort of like you had Scott in a couple of conversations in the first 2 episodes. You've locked him in a basement with some other person who I do not care about at all. And it's just like, what gives, guy?
Yeah, I mean, they're really gonna I have to turn the ship around somewhat in episode 5. If what Scott is saying is true, is that, if you can stick around to episode 5, things are going to get better. Maybe it's because we're going to get some answers from whoever this person is in the basement that's like, hey man, you got till the end of this smoke before I'm going to kill you to convince me why I shouldn't. So what has happened to this new character that we've just run into? Do they have answers? What have they seen?
Please, Teacup, just give us something. Make us believe in you again.
Yeah.
That's what we got for these 2 episodes of Teacup, guys. We will be here to see exactly where things go. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our other reviews. Also, like we said earlier, check out our latest reviews of American Horror Stories, all 5 episodes that dropped on Hulu this week. And if you want to support us further, join our Patreon. We have a link in the description below where we are covering The Penguin exclusively. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.